Hi there, solo sailors. Guy Mayger here, your class president. Will has kindly asked me to do a little audio for you just to talk about my experiences with sailing over the years and the solo class. So here goes. So I started sailing dinghies here when I was about 10, 11 years old with the local scout troop at the sailing centre at Thames Young Mariners at Teddington, near Kingston in London. And from there kind of progressed through toppers and working on the youth squad stuff with Jim Saltonstall. As I say, that was kind of early or late 70s and early 80s before starting to build farbles. Well, made my father built the farbles and I raced them, and yeah, I got fairly handy at that, and yeah, we competed at kind of international events, say throughout the early 80s. And then I did a bit of crewing for a few other people before moving back to club racing at Felpham Sailing Club, which has pretty much been my home club for the last 40 something odd years, until the last 3 years where I've been racing out of Hayling Island in my solo. Solo history, I first sailed a Lovett in 1978. Again, that was at Thames Young Mariners, and yeah, always liked the boats, always admired the boats, in particular the fleet racing, and that's really what attracted me to come to the class. So in 2013 I bought a brand new boon, which was one of the boats to have at the time, with a D plus rig and a North 3DL sail. And from there I spent 3 years kind of feeling my way into the class, getting used to the racing, having come from faster boats. Obviously the solo provides much more kind of tactical racing, so I had to get my head back around that style of racing. So, which has been a great thing, and is a huge attraction to the class, as we all know. Then in 2016 I got a new Winder Mark II, again with a D plus on board, and moved over to the HD sails, which were kind of popular at the time with the gold and yellow sails. And from there, yeah, I've kind of got myself more and more, I think, towards the front of the fleet. Yeah, have my moments of doing fairly well, so pretty pleased with myself to get race wins at the Spring Cup in Holland, been top 2 or 3 in a number of those events over the years. A few nice race wins at a couple of the other championships, and yeah, just the other week I was lucky enough to pull off the end of season win, so I was pretty chuffed with myself for that one. Regards making a solo go fast, obviously, as we all know, there's really not very much in it between the front guys and the guys a little bit further back in the fleet. It's mainly about getting a good start and your first shift, and sticking with the main group of sailors. Don't try and get too separated from anybody really if you can possibly help it, because more often than not, if half the fleet or more than half the fleet's going one direction, particularly if the normal front runners are going one way and you're going somewhere else, there's probably a reason for that, and you'll probably find out pretty quickly that you've got it wrong. So main tips for trying to go faster, particularly upwind, that seems to be my kind of area of speciality, I guess. My main tips would be centreboard, always keep the trailing edge vertical. So on the wind boats they normally come with a couple of pen marks on the centreboard, and so I'm always sailing with my board at kind of 3/4 of the way down, as I say, with the trailing edge perpendicular to the bottom of the boat, and that's my kind of default setting until I start to get overpowered and dropping the main a bit, and then I start to gradually lift the board. Once it gets really windy, even sailing at kind of half board upwind, as we know, the centreboard on a solo is pretty big, so it's always worth getting that raised up as much as you can early on, just to keep the boat nicely in balance, and you can actually drive it forward. My other favourite thing is the mast rate, so I tend to sail with kind of more mast rate than most people, I think, or certainly towards the more rate settings that any of the sailmakers provide. Again, I just kind of like the look of it on the boat. I just think it looks cool. So whilst it's a bit of a problem to get my 6'3" frame under the boom, I'll put up with it as long as I keep on thinking it's fast. Then my favourite other tip, as I think a lot of you know, is the fitness side of it. So I'm currently just having my 59th birthday, and so I'm in the garage every morning on my bike, pedalling away virtually against a whole bunch of people. But yeah, that's really helped me stay reasonably fit for my age. Means that the hiking seems to come a little bit easier. Basically, just used to the pain. So that's really helpful to be able to, as I say, power your boat upwind. I try and hike such that I'm kind of constantly hiking at a level that I know I can achieve throughout the length of the race, rather than kind of hiking hard and then moving in and hiking hard, moving in. Every time you do that, the boat tips over and you lose a little bit of leeway. So it's much better to get a kind of more effective kind of constant position that you can maintain, and then use that to as I say, keep a constant pace on the boat, rather than, as I say, this kind of little sort of rocking in and out and the boat tipping up. So always aim to keep the boat flat. Beyond that, I'd always stress, doing your homework on any event that you go to. Try and get a feel for the water that you're racing on before you get there, especially if it's one you haven't been to before. So obviously, if it's a tidal venue, knowing the tides, what's going on there, extremely important. So places like Saltram especially, very tricky venue. So try and get as much information as you can. Sometimes even the locals can help you out, sometimes. But it's very important, particularly, as I say, for championship venues. Try and glean as much information before you've got to the event. It really helps you get a view of the bigger picture. And with that, I'll wish you a happy end to the year of 2024, and look forward to seeing you guys all out on the water in 2025.